here
Right.
to hope, bring more listeners to you.
You got it. Hey, it's all good. So the other one is, you guys ever get political at all?
No.
Okay. And is that because you're not political, or you just decide not to do it for the content of your show?
Well, it's for the content of our show.
Are you guys not political, or you just kind of keep it off the show?
Because politics today is a fuck show. That's why.
Well, I would disagree with you. We do a half an hour on that. I would say it's the most important thing, and a lot of lazy fat asses are letting the country get stolen off a lot of fucking drug addict idiots. So, in my world, there's a lot at stake right now, politically. And a lot of people are like, fuck that. I don't do, show. But you're an American. All these people died at fucking D-Day to give you a shot to not have an election stolen by a fucking asshole, including my uncle and a lot of old people. So to me, it is an important thing, but it's a two type of world situation right now. You don't want to make everybody either hate you or feel bad at the same time.
Well, no matter what you do, it's a 50-50 split. So
right, 100%.
Isn't that interesting? To me, that's fascinating at my old age. I was in the 60s, I was a little kid going to school. All this stuff is important. Now you get older. Oh my God, was it important? It really was. Like yesterday, you guys probably don't listen to him. I don't much anymore, but I admire him. Limbaugh yesterday, old dying of cancer, Rush Limbaugh, which he was dying last year. I hope he hurries up now. We gave him that fucking medal. But what are you doing taking a medal for dying with fucking Trump and you're not dead, asshole? Fuck. All right. So he said yesterday, the thing is so bad, the country will split. That's all. He said, we split before 1860. You split it, have a big fight, and come back. So that is on my list today, but that's probably not something you guys have fun with, or you want to kick it around a little bit.
We're going to have fun with everything that you throw out here.
You're the best. All right, great. So, and I'll try to keep it not so apocalyptic. All right, beautiful. In, 15 seconds, describe how your show works and how it came together. Just give me a primer that I can play with on the air.
Go ahead, Leo.
Well, I run a small network, the Dorkening Podcast Network, and ran into these awesome guys at a convention, brought them on, and, for some strange reason, I decided to start producing their show.
No, stay right there. I can ask a million questions. That's fantastic. All right, great. So, we're like 60 seconds from starting. Make it 90. Okay, so I'm just going to pot down over here, do some stuff, come up to you guys live, okay?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. So one more time, it's Ashley, it's Leo, and it's Jeff.
Yes.
And Ben, I remember. Okay. The other part was a review for Grandpa. I got mention coming in now. All right. Thanks, guys. Hold on.
Okay. And before he comes on, just so you know, everybody watching now, we are being interviewed live by Ed Tyll. Florida Man Radio, and we're linked into the Florida being listened to statewide shortly.
And we got Bill Diamond and DJ Stenny in the chat.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, Bill, I thought you were driving.
Well, I was going to say, hey, Bill, don't forget to talk to John Ollie about the jackets.
Oh, my God. Even those damn jackets.
I came home. It was cold. My nipples got hard.
I'm going to sit down with you with that jacket.
Hey guys, I didn't even realize this. You will be live when I'm doing my opening music. So do me a favor, wait till I speak to you, but we're live right now. Thank you.
Is this your handiwork? I guess. From the deep recesses of the American psyche, where nerve endings explode into electrifying reality, exposing life for what it really is.
It's crazy. It's madness. I mean, people are getting ravished out there.
This is the Ed Tyll Show.
The Ed Tyll Show.
Come on, everybody, Ed Tyll, Ed Tyll. Come on, everybody, Ed Tyll. Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody.
Oh my God! Yeah, it's so hilarious. You guys already know what kind of mood I was in, and I have guests to begin the show. I hardly ever do that. We have 4 people joining us on the show today from a great podcast. This is what is fascinating to me. I have followed and listened to podcasts. I've heard the word podcast, but the truth is, it's always an argument when you get an old broadcaster sitting around with a guy says, "Hey, how come you don't have a podcast? You're a broadcaster. How come you don't have a podcast?" And right away, the broadcast guy will get very upset. He'll like, go, what are you trying to say? I don't have. What are you trying to say? I don't do. And the other guy will say, I don't know what the hell kind of show you have. If you have a show that is not on my phone, if you have a show that I can't send to my friend, then what kind of show is it? I don't understand what the hell you do. And I go, all right, I will try to explain. 100 years ago, there was something called an antenna. And then they had something called a radio. And then the guy would go in a room and the words would jump off the antenna and they go flying into the radio. And that's how we knew what the baseball game score was. Guy'd be at the baseball game. He'd scream out the score. That's what broadcast was. Then I got a little bit older and the Rolling Stones and the Beatles came around and the music was there. And now it sounds like podcasting is exactly the same thing. So let me begin with our guests who had me on their podcast. Now, Ben, I'll begin with you. Did the title change? Your original title and the title we have now. You have a fascinating title. It is Talking with the Dead. Is that your current title?
Well, Talking with the Dead actually is the comic book and live action television series that is being filmed as we speak. The podcast is still Talking with.
Talking with. Okay. And that's the one I was toked with that night.
Yes, you were.
Right. I had a great time being with you guys. So, Ben, let's introduce who else is along with you. Ashley, say your second name again.
Grace.
Grace. Ashley Grace. Now, Ashley, tell me about you. Who are you? What do you bring to the show?
Well, I bring the looks.
Let me rephrase that. I did not mean to call it a show. I am trying to learn. It's a podcast. And tell me what you do on the podcast.
Nothing.
Well, I just no, I'm just kidding. Well, they invited me on. I show up with tagline with Ben and Jeff. I actually play Piper in Still Talking with the Dead.
Okay, you're an actress.
No.
No, I wouldn't use that word.
When you say, I didn't understand what you said you do with the show then. Do tell me what you were just saying. I misunderstood you.
Yep. So I play Piper. Ben and Jeff invited me to be
I don't know
part
what
of.
If you said you're not acting, what do you mean when you say playing? There's a script and you have a role. And do tell what that means.
It is acting, but they're just being funny. But
okay,
I don't know what to call it.
Can anybody explain to the audience?
You're gonna make her cry.
Now, let's just go back to Ben for a second. Let me try this. She's talking about a show. You talked about a TV show. Mm-hmm. Start from the beginning. What is that? What show? And how would people listening find it? And what does she do on it? Let's just do that part. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. Currently, it's in post-production, issue 1. Basically, what we're doing is we're taking our comic book and bringing it to live action.
Okay. Now, when you say it's the original first comic that's becoming a full live action TV show?
Yes, it's going to be filmed as like a mini series. So we're actually filming issue number 2 currently.
All right, so you are up to 2. So start from the beginning. People never heard of it. Introduce them to the comic book, because I'm a comic book fan from way back, but this is a comic book now. Do tell. Go ahead.
Well, it's hard to it's really hard to describe because
Well, I know it is, but let's describe it anyway. In other words, for people who already love comic books, and this one is sitting on the table, what's a good reason to pick it up? You could just start anywhere. The artwork, the story. What would attract people to the comic?
Everything. Well, it's weed smoking zombies. I mean, do the math.
Okay. Well, could you do it for us? It's not.
Jeff, you gotta remember, Jeff. This is radio.
Do a thing before the show. I really hate the brief end. All the questions are to let you talk for 3 minutes so that we can pick out of what you say our understanding of it. So just walk me through. The comic book starts how? Did you guys have the idea first, or did you do a comic book and then the idea came? Go ahead.
So Jeff and I were on vacation with our wives. We had a T-shirt business that we started about, 26, 27 years ago, based on the positive side of hemp or cannabis. So we were sitting on a beach and we were chatting about that, blah, blah, whatever. And it came back up and I said, well, right now, the 2 biggest things in the country are cannabis, because it was just becoming decriminalized at the time, and zombies. I said, nobody's ever put the 2 together, and we could educate through adult humor the positive effects that cannabis has on people. And
interesting. That's interesting now. Yeah. So
as a medicinal aspect.
Okay, great. So is that in the plot line of the comic at all? Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Who's the main character in the comic?
Me, Jeff, and Ashley.
Okay. So it's about the 3 of you, really. It's like your real life in this comic. You're not characters like Batman and Wonder Woman.
Exactly.
Who you really are. All right. So what's the first issue about? What is the storyline of the first book?
Well, the first issue just kind of sets up the base of what we're trying to do.
What's the story? Just tell me the story. Where does it begin?
All right. Well, it begins with two guys that open up a dispensary after the legalization.
Okay.
Trying to get contracts with some bigger companies.
Got it.
They grow their cannabis out in their fields and they process it and they make their edibles and they also, the front of the dispensary is a store.
Right.
And
it's got a little bit of a sitcom thing to it where you could see 2 dudes getting a lot of laughs setting up their dispensary. So what's the vibe of these 2 guys when they're going into the pot business? Are they silly? Are they funny? What are these 2 guys like, the characters?
We're morons.
You guys.
Good. That's a good way to put that.
We're morons. We're just
sure. Example. Give me some good moronic examples. Yeah, exactly. Hey, let's get deep in this moronic.
Well, I can tell you that Jeff's character, Duke, wears bunny slippers throughout this whole thing. Pink, fluffy bunny slippers. So they're silly. They're fun. Like it's educational, the comic. It's very educational.
Let's do that a little bit. Tell me a little educational part of it. Go ahead, Ashley. Keep that going. I like what you're saying there.
What's educational in the cannabis world, it teaches people that, you don't just smoke weed to get high. It cures anxiety. There's different type forms you can take, CBD. I'm not as educated on it as Ben or Jeff is.
Ben, jump right in there. The best.
We found that, as we get older, it's harder for us to retain information, as you know, Ed.
What was your name again? Who are you guys? I'm sorry.
But we subliminally, through the comic, Jeff and I have known each other for 30 plus years, and the way we interact in the comic is how we interact on our podcast, broadcast show, on at events. This is just how we are.
Mm-hmm.
So subliminally, as you're reading the comic, Jeff will mention something along the lines of, this is how you decarb. I'm just going to say decarb because I can't say the word. Decarb your weed. And he actually says how to do it.
Now you got to go. So I don't even know that word. What does that word mean? And you're saying decarb is a short version of the real word?
Yeah.
What is it? What do you
decarboxylation?
Thank you.
Okay. And what are you doing to the weed? He said.
What you have to do is you have to activate the THC that's in the flower. And the only way to do that is to heat it up. That's why people smoke it. If you just took a bunch of weed and ate it without activating
You'd
it,
still probably feel something.
yeah, but it's not gonna do what you think it's gonna do. So it has to be decarbed first to activate the THC.
Right.
Then you can work with it.
Okay. So what happens in the episode? Will you guys be talking about this and then an event occurs or is it all internal? Kind of walk me through the issue. I really like to turn people on to.
Yeah. So basically what happens is, we're in the dispensary, we're doing our thing, and we get this huge contract with this company that we've been trying to get, and boom, end of the world happens. There's a huge explosion, the apocalypse happens, and through the first issue, we're kind of just like trying to figure out what's going on in the world, and we're seeing people getting torn apart, like the zombies or the undead or whatever you want to.
Right. Let me jump in. That only came up briefly. The zombies are in the reality of the comic book from the very beginning, or they are the big event. In other words, it's normal life until zombies show up, and now it's crazy time.
Right. So it's normal life, and then zombies show up. It's crazy time, and the reason.
And where's the dispensary? Where's where you guys really live? Are you guys Connecticut? What are you?
Jeff and I are in Mass.
You're in Mass.
Ashley's also in Mass. Leo is in Connecticut.
So is the plot line downtown somewhere in Massachusetts, or is it? Would you mention that? Is it? In other words, it's specific to geography. I'm trying to get anything that would help me paint a picture of it.
It's a fantasy location.
That's the least helpful of anything that would be. In other words, you're trying to say to people, here's what the street looks like. You're trying to say, it's rural, it's urban.
It's based. We just based it on a fantasy, like a small town. It's got mountains in the back. So we have our
rural. It's like rural Mass.
Yeah. I guess you could call it rural Mass or any place in Connecticut other than Hartford.
Right. Why would it not be? Oh, Hartford's the only city. Is that why?
You have New Haven, but we don't like to talk about New Haven.
It's a scary place.
Is it really just inside jokes? Is that what it is? Like nobody can really follow this. I mean, who the hell knows New Haven and Hartford? But it sounds hilarious. But is it inside? Is this the big difference between podcast and broadcast? Maybe that broadcast does shoot out to people not expecting anything. I have no idea. You sit in front of a TV, you turn it on. Maybe it's a baseball game. Maybe it's a movie. It could be anything. But when it's a podcast, there is a theme, a vibe, a channel you're already in. So an old guy like me is going to sound like a moron asking you all these questions because old guy's trying to get into that channel and get those jokes. You guys are hilarious to one another, but I'm trying to get in there. So is that podcast? Have we tripped over one of the elements of a podcast versus a broadcast, maybe?
Well, the biggest thing you're missing is a pod.
And if you trip over something, then you'll get the cast. So.
It's interesting because we used to a pod in my age bracket means a science fiction movie. They put the body in a pod and they fire the pod out to outer space. We had pods, but that's a 1968 pod. But yeah, right. Pods are now. When you say pod, what do you mean? You mean the MP3 recording of the show?
I think Leo actually could be best at explaining the difference here.
No, thank you. Jump in. What is the pod itself? The player? Because when he said, "Do I have a pod?" I'm like, he's right. I don't have an iPod. Didn't this all begin off the iPod? The use of the word pod. So tell me, what's the pod and what's the podcast?
Well, pod, from what I understand, came from iPod. That device. But a podcast is normally a weekly or semi-weekly, a reoccurring show that somebody would listen to. But podcasts have really, really changed over the last couple of years, where there are now more shows. A podcast can be, like our shows here. We do a video.
I don't mean to interrupt, but that is such an important point. There's a ton of podcasts, right? And when I first went out to Hollywood in the 90s, every agent had 35 people in the lobby that had a show, and they had their stars in tow. They had scripts. I mean, the volume of what wanted to get made back then was huge. Today, what gets made is huge. Even more demand behind that. How difficult is it? More shows, for an audience? Does it make the audiences bigger? Does it make them smaller and more effectively connected to you? It's fascinating to me. What do you think about that, Leo?
Well,
Or Ashley, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, I think, well, especially when Corona happened and everyone was quarantined, podcasts came
Exploded
out everywhere.
Right.
But I think, like a difference between a podcast and a broadcast is podcasts. You have social media to target certain audience.
Right.
So like social media, there's like, there's zombie groups and weed groups and music groups. You can flush your podcast right to those groups of people to target your audience.
Exactly. Right.
So it's just, that's what I think. And then broadcast,
You got it. Ben, well, I'm coming to you first. And I want to ask Jeff, when you are watching a live TV show, like say a football game on a Sunday, watching a game's happening right now, or you pick up a show later in the evening that's from a couple of years ago, but you never got around to watching it. You heard some good things about it. It was on your mind. Oh, wow, I'm finally going to watch this now. Two different experiences. That one is live and the world is watching with me and this is happening right now. And the other one was beautifully made, but it's like a film. You take it off the shelf. You're in the mood to watch it. Maybe you pause it. If you want to take a break, you come back. Is there any difference really there, or is that not important stuff that I just mentioned?
Well, to me, honestly, that's not relevant, because if I'm sitting on my couch watching a live game or concert or whatever, I'm sitting on my couch. If I'm sitting on my couch watching a movie, I'm still sitting on my couch. I'd prefer to be at the event. That's when the live versus pre-recorded really has an impact as a person, the interacting with the crowd, or doing events type of a thing, that's, I mean,
right. The live shows allow you to interact, even though we're not in a or at an event, so to speak.
Right.
We can interact with our viewers and our listeners because they have the ability to type in, ask questions.
Sure.
Similar to I remember growing up with the old radio shows, the Fibber McGee and Molly and all that kind of crap that was out there. And you could actually call in. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I don't remember that. I do remember we had a talk show guy in New York that used to take the call off the air, tell you what the dude said, then answer the dude, then go back to the phone. I mean, this was real. People could not hear the caller, but they'd wait to hear what was going on. So this is kind of the crux of what I'm saying. When I was a kid, to know that it was live, like if it was a ball game, or I remember when the Knicks were in the playoffs when I was a kid, and you never saw a home game live, but because it was Game 7, they were allowing you to have the game live on your TV. And everybody in my neighborhood was in front of that TV. We couldn't believe we were seeing Madison Square Garden. So that kind of, oh my God, that's happening, and I'm watching them, that's not as big a deal. I think today, in a world of surveillance cameras, in a world of screens everywhere you look, that was a miracle to us. But I don't think you can sell that as a miracle today, right?
I would agree. I don't think it's not as exciting. I mean, you can Google a picture of Madison Square Garden nowadays. Like it's different. The internet changed
This
everything.
is so fascinating. Ben, you hear that answer, right? Jeff, you hear what she's saying. The experience is one thing. Reading it on Google is something else, isn't it? Isn't a YouTube of an experience different than an experience? They might be melding.
Well, I would actually disagree a little bit there, because
go ahead, Leo. Yeah.
So I think the experience has changed. The people that are interacting with the shows and everything, like live events, are still amazingly huge, but it has changed. So rather than a live event on a baseball game, you're having a live event on like an Apple event, and there'll be a live.
Exactly. This is exactly what I'm curious about. The minute you said that, right away I lost interest. I was like, an Apple event. Right. It's not an event. It's an Apple event. Yeah. And I do feel podcasting is a little bit like that. I always wonder, is it for me? Broadcast is automatically for me. I turn on a radio. It's for me. You're trying to get me They
Yeah.
want me. They're broadcasting at me.
Well, whether you realize it or not,
Broadcasting,
Ed,
I'm
right
kind
now
of pointing. I'm kind
you're
of pointing in, right? Yeah.
you're doing a podcast right now, whether you realize it or not.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. To me, that definition just means it's a recording. I mean, to me, anything recorded is podcast.
Right.
All right. So I have to think, music, film, radio, most of what's recorded never would air. Most of what was recorded back in broadcast days was not good enough to air. Podcast is like whatever happens is fine. Broadcast was, oh, no, that's not going on. That's not ready to go on air yet. Oh, no, that's not fleshed out. You guys have a great idea, but it's not all tucked neatly for excellent execution. We got 6 minutes for this bit. You talk. You're the beginning, you're the middle, you're the end. Here's the example. Splash. Here's the tease. We go to the next thing. That's broadcast. Very tight packaged. Podcast is kind of like my style. I hate the clock, the breaks. I hate anything that's not great communication in the moment, rich as an experience. So what do you think of that, Jeff?
Well, no, you're right. The difference is, we do our shows on Wednesday night. I mean, it is broadcast live. All right. So I don't consider that show actually a podcast. It gets burned down to a podcast later on.
Beautiful. So what do you think of it when it's a broadcast? When you're planning it, doing it, what's in your mind? Do you think of strangers that never heard it? Do you think of our regular listeners that know we're here? What's in your mind when you're doing the broadcast side of it?
Honestly,
usually not much.
Care less one way or the other. Right.
No, I go with the flow. I mean, it takes its own track. There's no script. Nothing is scripted out. You know what I mean? I don't have a piece of paper because I got to read the weather for the day.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I feel like it also depends on the guest of the show, because some of them are just like all about talking and giving us information,
but
sometimes we're like fill dead air.
How do we know it's good to keep listening? Like
when it's funny.
When I'm in a car, even though I'm listening to all broadcasts, I'm punching that dial all the time. If they get a little bit of a low, boom, I want another one. Boom. This song is okay, but it's not boom, 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 boom. So very demanding in the broadcast world and easy to get rejected.
Right.
Different. If I come with a podcast,
I'm going to jump in real quick, Ed. You have to keep it fresh. You have to keep it interesting for your viewers or your listeners.
Right? What is fresh? Tell me what fresh means. What does fresh mean?
Entertaining.
I mean, look,
like with our show,
Bob Hope or a punk band in L.A. Both entertaining, but
put them in the same room together and see what happens.
Right.
Type of a thing.
Is it good? Do you feel it's good based on how it results, or is it good whether it results well or not? We did a good thing. It didn't get a good result. Or, hey, man, the only way you know you did something good is if you get the result. How do you look at it?
Bottom line is, did I have fun doing it?
Absolutely, 100%.
Personally, for you,
yes, me personally.
If the audience says, "Hey, man, you were a little bit boring tonight, but you had a great time," that's still a great show, right? Because you had a great time.
Absolutely.
There you go. Well, that's very much like broadcast. So, I guess the other thing about podcasting would be it's got durability. It's you're familiar with it being there, and you could re-listen to it. You would pull it back out, or is it one or two listens and it stays in the back of the database? Do you re-listen? Is a podcast something I want to hear that again? I want to hear that opening bit again, or is it just going to be heard one or two times?
I'm going to let Leo answer that.
Well, all depends on the show, and I think we're kind of missing on something too. You asked earlier in the show, as of range, how many listeners or how many watchers or something like that, and it's more of a microcosm now with so many shows. It's not just a couple shows getting like all the views, and with podcasting, you do get shows that everybody listens to, but with like the smaller shows, you're getting a microcosm of your guests. And one of the things is you're getting more of an intimate, connection with your guests as well. So once they get hooked, I mean, you have these big guests to hook people in, but, once people get familiar with the guests and, they think of them, a lot of them times they think of them as like part of their family or friends, and they want to listen every week because they want to bring that into their house or into their ear pods.
But
And-
what do you think is the it part? What I'm trying to identify is like the other night I watched a great movie about World War II with Clint Eastwood and Richard Burton. It was an escape movie. Get the guy that was captured by the enemy. It's a great film. So the next day I was able to say, dude, you want to watch a great escape film? And they go, yeah. I turned them on to it. So within 2 seconds, I told them the kind of entertainment I had. Dude, you want to see an escape movie? That's a 3-hour group of words. So that's what I'm interested in podcasting, how you describe the nugget, right? The nugget of that film was the category of the film. Then the film was great. What's the nugget about the podcast? What is the it?
It depends on the podcast.
Yeah, because each week it's a different
give me a
guest.
glowing, easy to follow example of that. Draw a straight line. That's what I'm asking.
He wants a straight line. We always zigzag. Sorry.
They know a straight line.
and that's the type of podcast. There are some where it's just like a talk radio show, just a group of friends.
That's what I'm kind of afraid of, right? Doesn't it sound indistinguishable? That's why I keep asking for the it. What's the difference between a podcast and just an ordinary talk show? Like there's great talk shows, there's phenomenal talk shows, but there's regular weekly talk shows about nutrition. There's no big glamour to it, but it's awesome, reliable, and helpful to the public. But it's not going to be like having Billie Eilish in the studio or having Greta Van Fleet perform during the break. That's another kind of show. So that's all I was trying to get a handle on is the nugget that makes the podcast different. What do you think it is about you guys?
Well, because nobody ever knows really what we're gonna do
or say.
Well, we're not, like I said, we're not scripted, and our guests vary so wide that it makes each show unique, and people want to tune in to see that.
Right, but you can see that those are all adjectives. I get it. Unique, great, but the noun goes in front. Like that's a fantastic escape movie. That's an incredible punk band. That's an amazing Chevrolet Corvette. The specificity is what paints out the picture. So that's what I'm saying. Yes, I do get it. I mean, I feel all of the spontaneity, but I'm interested in what it does for people.
If you're looking for a noun.
Yes, I love nouns. I hate adjectives. Love nouns because nouns are things and adjectives are imagination of things.
Yeah, but without the adjectives, you can't describe the noun.
Well, yeah, you can. You can just use your own word. You don't need that person's adjective. The first thing is I got to have the horse in front of me to decide what kind of adjective I'm looking for. The adjective follows the noun. I can't put excellent first and then add excellent what after. Excellent what? An excellent.
Why not? Bill and Ted did it with Excellent Adventure.
We had a comment on our end. Angel, he has a show on our podcast on our network called That Strange Show, and he says we strive for good content always. Sometimes it's one and done, and we know this. Some shows are built for a revisit. All depends on how the listener takes it in the podcast.
You see, poor Angel is doing the same thing. I just read that with you. There's not a noun in there.
Okay,
so
so
let me make it clear, right?
Train wreck.
Since the beginning of entertainment says what I do is unique and great. That goes all the way back to Socrates. The things that make it because they specifically connect with people. People feel you and they start getting more into the things that you're into and the bond builds. I'm just trying to figure which way they come into you guys. Do they come in because it's zombies? Do they come in because it's pot? Do they come in because they know one of you and that's an entry point in? That's what I'm trying to figure for myself. I mean, I love talking with you guys.
Yeah. Honestly, it's all of that, Ed. I mean, we are so diverse in so many different industries because of the comic book and the type of comic book it is that people want to connect with us, from cannabis to comic to entertainment to horror to music.
Right.
So to try to put one noun in front of what we do is really hard. We describe it more or less as a train wreck.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, why? How could a stranger tune in to a train wreck unless they had nothing to do?
because it makes them laugh.
Yeah, it's
If I
funny.
say to you, what's good about it? Are you going to say it's good? I mean, you're going to say, well, this part's good, and this part's funny, and this part's like Ashley said before, it's informational too. So
It can be.
I'm thinking, well, then what's the most interesting informational point that would draw? Oh my God, is that true? I want to listen. That's what I'm not hearing.
That's because that's not what we do.
Right. So it's really been difficult to get you to put into words what you do, except that you compliment it every time. You keep saying it's great, but it's like you're hiding what you're doing.
I feel like it's
I'm
tougher.
trying to get the people to see
Comedy.
exactly.
Well, so obviously, each show has a niche topic. With the token, still token with, a lot of times, when we do the show, Ben and Jeff are stoned, and it's trying to.
All right, so that's what I'm saying. So that's specific now. So you could tune in and hear somebody stoned. That's how you could say to your friends, hey, you should tune in. Well, is it Joe Rogan who also? There's a lot of podcasts where you say, hey, man, these guys are funny. They're all high when they're on the air. It's hilarious. I get that.
Yeah, but it's more than that. It's, along with, being high, they're also interviewing, unique guests. A lot of it's indie creators, and just people that you wouldn't really interact with sometimes. Like we had, somebody that did massage, or a lot of times it's cannabis related individuals. And each show is different. Like, we do on Mondays, we do a indie creator spotlight, which talks with, indie creators for like indie artists, indie filmmakers.
That's a great example. What's the best or your favorite memory of one of those segments so that other people could know why you loved it?
Well, we interviewed a gentleman he was the star of the movie Monster Squad from the 80s. And actually off camera, he told us some awesome stories about that and some thoughts about, a possible, some futures with the, if it was to come back and whatnot. So it's...
I got a little bit lost. This is an actual film.
Yep.
It was in the 80s, almost 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Anybody in it that we would know? Did it make any impression that we could call back for people who saw this film?
Monster Squad was actually a flop, but it's actually gained a cult status.
There you go. So it's a cult movie. All right, great. And as a cult movie, go ahead. As a cult movie, this would be something that would be the subject of your show, or in other words, you would take that and make that a topic?
Well, we would interview the actor, and he would tell us stories. Like the guy that played Frankenstein in the movie. There was one night where he didn't like taking the makeup off, and he was driving home, and he actually got pulled over dressed as Frankenstein or Frankenstein's monster. So, but with podcasts, you get interesting stories like that and interesting guests where, similar to a talk show where you wouldn't normally hear on regular TV, and it's a more intimate experience.
You got it. Now, a show like that is the whole show maybe with that guy, or that's a segment of the show?
Normally for all the shows, it's that guest for the entire hour or hour and a half.
All right. Now I'm getting a little feel. Jeff, what do you enjoy out of it? What's the best part of it don't let me ask it that way. You'll give me all those bad answers again. Do you? You just kind of repeat it. I want to try to pin you down. No, I want to pin you down and make you say something. You haven't said anything to me the whole time, but I want to pin you down. Can you recall a moment on the podcast that you were saying, "Oh my God, this is it. I love what I'm doing right now." Go ahead. That's what I'm looking for. Tell me that.
Yeah, when we had you on the show, I was scratching my head going, I think this was a mistake.
Okay. All right. So again, I'm asking seriously. Can you just answer me instead of
sure?
Yeah, go ahead. Sit up, right?
Sure.
Appreciate it.
But you got to understand now. See,
if you're a little more engaged, I think we might get a little more out of you. So engage me a little bit. The shows that you love, or a segment that you really love, went like how? Go ahead.
Okay, look. I have a job. There's a noun. Okay, I have a job on our live shows. My job is to be the comic relief. I'm the one-liner guy. I'm the guy that is supposed to do the stupid, silly stuff.
Got it.
Okay, so that's what I do. That's what I enjoy. That's what I have fun with. And if I can make the guest blush, laugh, or want to run away,
Exactly.
then that's I've done my job, and
There-
that's what I have fun with.
Let me do this. I love that answer. And that really was what I was looking for in the beginning. I'm behind on my breaks. Let me get a break in here and bounce this around to you guys. Favorite moments you're in there and what it does for you when the show is really killing, when you're like, oh my God, we're really having a great podcaster. Wow, this is really great. I want to hear what you guys feel of that, because in broadcasting, that's still what we don't know. Nobody really knows what's happening inside of somebody else. So fascinating when you draw it out of them. All right, this is terrific. These lovely, talented people with me are the co-hosts of a fantastic, remarkable podcast. I had the pleasure of being on with these guys on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. It was so much fun. We're going to come back and talk more with Still Toking. By the way, am I getting the title right now? Because I know the title changed. Still Toking is the title, right?
Still
Yes.
Toking with, yes.
Still Toking with our guests on the Ed Tyll Show, Florida Man Radio. And I'll open up the phones, 321-339-1055. If you're a podcast fan, listen to a ton of them. Love to hear from you. You have any thoughts on these guys and you're interested in them, you can have your question answered by them as well. 321-339-1055. The Ed Tyll Show, Florida Man Radio, unfiltered and unafraid.
Ed Till's coming right back.
Silence.
Are we supposed to be?
I don't know.
I don't either. Yeah. Are we supposed to be quiet?
I don't know why you whispering.
Because I don't know.
Your mic is still on.
I believe he's running an ad, so I'm
I
assuming,
believe so too.
I assuming they muted us on their end. So for
This is fun. This is like tough being put on blast like this.
It's really hard not to drop the F-bomb.
I know. It's cool. But it's interesting as well because these are questions to think about, right?
Okay.
Why do you do this?
I
Because we're hilarious.
We know that our live feed, we know people can see us and hear us.
Yeah.
It's on the radio that Ed is pushing.
yeah.
Exactly.
So this show is being broadcast live all over Florida, and we're not
On the
sure-
radio.
on the 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 radio.
And we figured, as a special for all our watchers on all the platforms that we're on right now, we would throw this into a live stream and let you be part of it.
Exactly.
We'll not just be put on blast.
You know, Ed dropped the phone number before he went to commercial break. So pick up your phones if you're out there, man. Jump on. Give us a razzing.
Okay. I got a question for me.
Type it in the chat. Don't make me have Leo mute you so we can do voiceovers again. Funniest part of that show, Leo?
Yeah.
Ashley and Jeff had no clue that we were voicing over them.
No idea.
No idea.
No
We
idea.
went back to the hotel and showed them that night, and the two of them were like, "Oh my god!"
Laugh.
It was
We're
pretty
so
funny. It was pretty funny.
While we wait for it to come back, Angel said regarding podcasts, it's all up to you,
Yeah.
the listener, on how to connect to the content. for our show, we do it for us first and foremost. We treat it as a sort of sit down with friends. You can sit down with us if you want. It's your choice at the end of the day to tune in.
See, I like this guy right here, Facebook user, because there's no name. He says, I'm on a Mexican radio. Dude, hit us up. We'll come on Mexican radio and make you laugh.
Right?
Just don't drink the water.
You picking your nose or something, Ashley?
No, I'm texting Mark.
She's got a wedge.
No, I don't.
Ow.
Got it. Thank you for that. I'm watching. I knew I was way off, but thanks.
Tara says, that is awesome. You should do a Florida comic book shop tour.
Well, Tara, you're the one that's affiliated in Florida. You got to get us down there.
Yeah.
Come on, everybody, Ed Tyll. Come on, everybody, Ed Tyll. Come on, everybody, Ed Tyll.
All right, the Ed Tyll Show, Florida Man Radio, unfiltered, unafraid. Still Toking With is the name of the podcast. On the line with us, we have 4 members of the cast, but I went to IMDb during the break. What a great reference it is for this show. Check it out. Go to the IMDb for Still Toking With, and you'll see everybody. Wow, you guys have quite a list of folks here. It's an incredible 35 episodes of this podcast between 2019 and 2020. Leo, as you know, we've been chatting with Leo. He's the producer. Ben is the executive producer. Jeff is the executive producer, Comic Relief. And actually, I didn't get your title before, but I know that you're a great contributor and you're a great member of the team.
Ashley is our surprise co-host.
Nice.
She actually has her own show as well.
Oh, really?
I do.
Tell me, Ashley.
So
Tell us
I
about
went,
your show. Is that something you can talk about?
yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So mine's Sunday nights. I do it with a good friend of mine, Dave. He runs Hell Entertainment.
What's the title of the show, and what is it? What a show for what?
So the title of the show, it's under the publication Hell Entertainment. The title is called Sinner Sundays. That's Sundays, Sundaze.
Okay.
And we honestly kind of do what these
Can you
guys
explain
do.
what that even means? What is it? Say it again. Sinners on Sunday?
No, Sinner Sundays. Because like you're on Sunday, you're in a daze. Get it?
Right. So sinner, S-I-N-N-E, or sinner Sundays.
Yep.
Okay. And what does that mean?
So at Sunday by 8:00 at night, you're just in a daze and you want to listen to us being hilarious. No. Our podcast is more targeted towards the music industry, and we try and get music guests, artists of all genres.
Right on. Now, the same question I was asking these guys. Who was your favorite?
Ooh, that's really hard. We've definitely had some cool people on. Just last week we had someone named D-Rock on from, back in the day, a hype man, and he's doing some great stuff now. Basically, we wanted to talk to artists about what they're doing in this time with no live music to keep going, and if they're writing. So that's what we do.
Interesting. So go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Was there enough nouns in there for you?
I believe me, I felt the hostility even when I was on with you. It's a little bit. Believe me, I'm not crazy about you. You're one of those guys who sits there very entitled, and unless people say what you like, you don't give a crap. I got it. Yeah. Leo and Ben are much more forthcoming, but I got it. Your job is not to carry a big load. You do your guitar solo, you do your freaking guitar solo when they say it, and that's about it. I don't play chords. I don't arrange songs for you guys. I'm a bit player. If you want to give me more money, I'll run the show for you. I got it. It's cool. But the idea is I like to connect with a show. When I start watching a show, even as a kid on TV, I need to know all about it in order for me to bond up with it.
So what'd you do? Study Scooby-Doo before you watched the cartoon?
Scooby-Doo's a little before my time. I'm early films, Laurel and Hardy, Three Stooges, Abbott and Costello.
Well, you're talking the modern day of all of that.
Right.
Say again?
I said you're speaking with the modern day of all of them.
See, I would love to think that. But, I mean, they really labored over their stuff. This whole scene seems to be whichever way the wind blows, it's great. It's great. Somebody talk, it's great. I don't know. You know what I mean? They rejected a lot of stuff. All of those comedians had a much bigger room of crumpled up ideas not good enough. And then the few that they made it to the TV with were very special. It looks like we're in the opposite era of show business. Show business puts out bulk. And then the great stuff, you got to go find it, make it great, and find a needle in a haystack kind of thing. But it used to be, it only got out if it was special. So, that's what those guys, but those guys had a very limited access, right?
Right.
Your show has already had more exposure and fandom than a lot of those great old days where the audience was small. You had to watch it on TV at a certain time. So what you guys are doing, you're entertaining more people, giving more people fun. What do people say they like the most about it? What is some of your favorite positive feedback? Oh, you guys rock at this, or this was their favorite that you heard from fans.
Well, usually we get Jeff's a mess.
Oh, yeah, really? Do you get accused of being a mess?
Yeah, all the time.
You're together. I think you're pretty together. But okay, do you enjoy that? You said before your character's provocative. So if you make them annoyed and they get annoyed at you, do you feel there's a little bit of success in that? You kind of enjoy that?
That's an accomplishment. Yes.
Same here.
Yes, but you got to understand that, my job, I don't want to annoy people. If somebody gets annoyed, then I try and flip it around and make them laugh at the annoyance.
Oh, right. So you try to balance it. You zigzag them a little bit.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can be really, really harsh sometimes, but it's all in fun. But not everybody gets that.
Right. Well, see, this is what you and I have in common. This is now we finally have found some common ground. Now, I do enjoy when people are a little upset by what I say. When you hear them going, hey, Jeff, what do? Do you take up their side of it a little bit? Say, hey, I forgot you, and tell their side of it? Or what do you do when people are a little offended?
Well, I mean, you can't stop from offending. Everybody's offended by something.
Right.
Everybody is offended by something.
Right.
But, if I offend somebody, the way I look at it, well, it's not my fault that you took it that way.
Nice. Now, Leo, how about Leo? You look so unlike that. You look like you would not be that. Hey, look, that's the way you took it, buddy. I didn't mean it that way. Too bad. Leo looks like the kind of guy's like, oh, all right. No, I understand you might have seen that differently. How do you deal with conflict, Leo, when they get a little bit edgy? How do you feel? How does that make you feel?
Well, my job is to make sure everything's running correctly and to keep the conversation flowing. If there's a lull, I'm a very easygoing person. I can get along with just about everybody. And, my day job is more corporate related. So it's, you need to be that way. You're dealing with
right. You're familiar with the boundaries. All right. So when we come back, Ashley and Ben, I want to talk to you about the same thing. When you say things and you feel good about them, or you say things and people are reacting to what you've said. Well, we'll talk about that when we come back. All right. Still Talking With is the podcast. And we have 4 members of the podcast with us: Leo, Ashley, Ben, and Jeff. It's the Ed Tyll Show, Florida Man Radio, unfiltered, unafraid. And we are so far behind on the schedule. All right. I'm doing it. I'm catching up as of right now. I don't hear it catching up, but I promise you we will. Yeah, there you
go. Angel says Leo turns red and flips his desk when the cameras go off.
I think you're the smart one of the two.
It takes a lot to get me pissed, but you don't want to see me pissed.
Now, see, my main goal with it is just to have Leo turn red.
Oh, yeah.
I think
during the show.
That happens a lot.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not red in anger. It's red in embarrassment or
Like, oh
I
my
can't
God,
believe he just said that.
It's exactly what it is.
For those of you, the silence right now, there is probably an ad playing. We are on the Ed Tyll Show, which is broadcast all over Florida for Florida Man Radio. And the awesome people here are being interviewed by Ed Tyll.
Including you.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're up here too. We didn't drag you in here just to produce the show.
Okay. Well,
We dragged you in here to be part of the show.
And it's appreciated, greatly appreciated.
Yeah,
because without you, there is no show.
pretty much. Well, at least this part of what we do.
Right.
Speaking of that, I spoke with Diego yesterday. He gave me the information for the login and everything. So
I know he did because I went over his head and I called the owner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm done playing games with people.
Okay.
Do your
Tell
damn
us how
job.
you really feel.
Oh, do your job.
Do your job.
Well, I spoke to the owner last week, and he said if Diego doesn't do what he was supposed to do, let me know.
Okay.
So I said, well, I'll give Diego to the end of the weekend to respond to me. I didn't hear from him. I called the owner back, and I said, hey, listen, I don't know what's going on in his life, but this is important. If you want us to stay on, we need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, hence Diego reaching out to you now.
Yep.
So
yeah, we had a training session yesterday.
Oh, good.
Oh,
I'm glad
good.
to hear
Good.
that.
Yeah, and actually, I am speaking with somebody tomorrow night. Got an idea for a new show for Tuesdays.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, like I said, we're booked till February right now.
Nice.
And we're definitely going to have to do a special in January.
Okay.
I got confirmation from Kent Dimmel's agent. So he's the drummer from In This Moment. So I don't want to wait till February to do his show. So we'll talk about it after the first of the year and what night will work or what day could work best for him and get him in and get him on.
Okay.
Because that's going to be a big thing.
Nice.
Big thing.
Yeah, just
Do it big things. Ashley will not be a co-host on that.
Nope.
I got
She's all nope.
I mean, I would, but
I'm just teasing.
don't
My
be
camera's-
yelling at me. Don't yell at me.
My camera's freezing up. Yeah,
I have a,
It's not on this end, so it's funny that you're just like
go ahead.
No,
Go ahead,
he's
No,
got a delay.
yeah, I got a crazy show on Monday. Actually, Steven from Super Retro Throwback Reviews sent me the contact info for these guys. The directors of the new movie Fat Man.
I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Have you guys seen Fat Man?
I
No.
haven't seen it, but I've heard the premise.
No, I saw that you pushed that out there.
If you want a dark and demented Christmas movie,
Hey guys, stand by.
This is the Ed Tyll Show.
All right, we're talking with four members of the podcast, Still Toking With. And I found a great way to reference them. If you guys want to check it out, go to their IMDb. It's an amazing show, packed full of hilarious antics and off-the-wall shenanigans. Love this. It's a great list of people who have been on the show. Ben, I want to come to you and Ashley on the moments that you love doing the show. What's your favorite moment where it's great for you hosting?
For me, it's anytime I can make Leo turn red.
Go
honestly.
ahead. Give me your favorite time that you've done that. Describe that situation. Go ahead.
Well, I don't want to get you in trouble with the FCC.
You describe. I'll watch the FCC. Go right ahead. Tell me the story.
Oh God, let's see. I think one of my favorites was when we had actor Roger Cabler on.
Okay.
Roger is well known for being Robin Williams. I mean, you put this guy on a stage with a wig on, he looks like Robin Williams.
Oh my God, he's a Robin Williams impersonator.
Some say he was actually possessed by Robin Williams. You can go back and watch part of the show.
Is he a
And it
stand-up? Does he?
Oh
do
yeah, yeah. He's a
stand-up on his
stand-up.
own?
But I mean, he's been in a ton of stuff. If you go look at his IMDb,
Right.
I mean, he's done everything from, I believe it was the Carol Burnett show.
Now, who is he? And just say his name. People might know who you're talking about.
Roger Cabler.
Okay. And
Okay, yeah.
now, where would we see him? Is he on anything right now?
Right now, he's in the process of finishing up a movie called Being Robin, which is all about Robin Williams. And I believe Leo is doing the editing on that.
Wow, Leah, really?
Doing some editing on it. Yeah, it's a joint effort between me and Roger.
Beautiful. Well, this is interesting that he comes up, Robin Williams. That's kind of a serious topic, but that's what I do. Do you guys have thoughts about Robin Williams? Ben, what a big fan, and his
I love him.
Ignominious ending.
Love him.
Tore me
Love
up
him.
for a
Love
year.
him.
I wasn't good for a year after this guy died. Says goodnight to his wife, goes in another bedroom on the other side of the house, hangs himself because of Louis. Louis is the name of the disease he had. Some kind of dementia with the word Louis in it, Lewey. So, wow, there's like nobody coming in the wake of that comedy dynamo, is there?
No, I don't think anybody will ever step into those shoes like that. No.
Now, Ashley, for you, big Robin Williams fan, he's not really your demographic. So how did you hook up with that? How did you find yourself laughing at Robin Williams? He wasn't really, he was for us back in the 80s. He was new and happening, and his comedy specials were like Eddie Murphy's. They were iconic. But talk to me about how you started enjoying him. What do you like about him?
Big Disney kid, Genie.
Honestly,
Honestly,
the side of Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Robin Williams, huge
Mrs. Doubtfire.
entertainer, right. Very good.
Right. So for me, it was like more the movie end over his comics, comedian like stand-ups rather.
Right.
But then learning more about him and him being hilarious is
fantastic. So you guys really got to talk to this dude. Did he describe his obsession or love of Robin Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He.
What did he say was the reason he was doing it?
Well, he. To be honest with you, I really believe that he feels as though Robin became part of him when Robin passed, and he lives that every single day, and that's really what his new movie is all about.
Is going to be that effect on him?
Yes.
Well, and his movie's more of like being possessed by Robin Williams, and
right.
It's scary because with the editing process, some of his like mannerisms and everything, like there was one thing where he's like talking to himself. It's like a possessed Robin Williams talking to Roger,
right?
And it was easy to pick out the two because his mannerisms and everything.
Wow.
Being a Robin Williams fan, it was easy to pick out those scenes because he it really embodies Robin. It's really scary.
It's scary, crazy, yeah.
And do you hear in Leo's voice how drawn in he was by that?
Oh yeah, the emotion in that. Oh yeah,
the mannerisms and all. That is such a tribute to what I was talking about in the beginning about your podcast. Your podcast does do that. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I was after in the very beginning. And I apologize for taking so long to get there and maybe being annoying with you guys. But that is really the key.
Well, you're not so quick, but it's okay.
If you don't mind putting up with that, Jeff, it's going to be my job to make it easier for you going forward. Let's see if I can be less slow. But fantastic. That's the key. I think what Leo's just describing, that's the key to a successful podcast or broadcast. If you're that interested in that much, then the job is done. Fantastic. You guys had Bill Diamond on in a recent episode. Do you mind talking a little bit about that experience for you and about your live action shoot and the show itself?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I mean, Jeff and I had the pleasure of meeting Bill 3 years ago. Long story, our wives did something they wasn't supposed to do. They got yelled at. We yelled at his road manager, who is now his floor manager.
Let's take the audience who Bill Diamond is, though. They may not recognize his name.
Jeff.
He has been involved with everything from Jim Henson. He's the puppet guy.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Basically, he's the puppet guy.
Jim Henson. Do you have to say more around the world? That's about it. Jim Henson, puppet guy. How? What does he do now? What is he currently doing?
Well, he's doing his own thing. He's got his monster TV show going. Obviously, he's doing the filming for us. Which is going to be a series, not a movie. And he's having a lot of fun with it. That's the thing about Bill, is that no matter what his hands touch, he makes it fun.
Nice.
And magical. Yeah.
And magical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to add, it's more than the Muppets. Muppets, but Jim Henson. This also, Fraggle Rock, Dark Crystal. Bill Diamond has done a hell of a lot.
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street, yeah.
He worked on Sesame Street. A lot of people don't understand. I mean, if you watched the show the other night, you got a little glimpse of Bill Diamond. But this gentleman does not just puppeteering, but he works with the Yankees. He works with the PGA Tour. He's a master of lighting effects.
That's what I was going to say. So what does he do for like a baseball team? He'll set up what? An event or
have you ever seen Buzz in the Bronx?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so Buzz in the Bronx, that entire set and lighting was done by Bill Diamond. That was his third Emmy win.
Wow. So how lucky do you feel to have him working with you?
But it depends on how close he's standing next to me.
I like that effect too. Yeah, that defeats any meaning of the question at all. You can just leave it then, right? And who cares what he was asking or why he was asking it? No, I got you. It's cool.
It's honestly, it's an extreme honor to be working with him.
Really, I'm thinking about that crowd, and then you guys. He loves what you've come up with. He wouldn't be with you unless he loves what you're doing.
He's probably the most patient human ever.
Because he has to deal with us.
But he's always having like a good time too. It's an honor to be
it. You're going to you're shooting a live action of the comic book.
It's based on the comic, yeah. Right. So we're taking specific scenes and using those, but the great thing about Bill is we'll sit down in a meeting and he'll throw out an idea and say, you guys, this is your production. You don't have to. And then the creativity between.
You're going to hate me. Could you give me an example of what he said? What thing did he input on and what thing was going on? It'd be fascinating to know what Bill Diamond does in that kind of situation.
Okay, so for instance,
he wanted a boat.
I was gonna say the boat. That's so.
You guys are going to the boat. I was going to the other direction of the crossbreed.
No, not yet.
In any of the comics, there's no boat. But Bill Diamond said there will be a boat in the filming.
So something about it, suggested boat to him. Now, when he said that, did you immediately go, "Whoa, he's right," or did you go, "Oh my God, what is he talking about"? How did it?
No. I said, what are you doing? There's no boat in the comic book. And he said, well, there is now.
Did you try to shut him down and tell him his idea was no good? And what did he say to you? He said,
"Well, right. Well, when we came full circle and it was actually time to start shooting these scenes,
right?
There wasn't any boat.
There wasn't a boat. So there's not going to be a boat for Bill Diamond.
We don't know yet.
We don't know what's going to happen.
He might be SOL. This guy, him and his boat might be out of luck.
Well, what's really cool about the experience as well, doing everything, going off the whole boat thing is he listens to the three of us being creative all together. So each of us have our own ideas and we kind of mash it together and it works like it does.
Excellent. Leo, are you familiar with that? Do you know what Ashley's talking about there that Bill is able to do, how he kind of absorbs their creativity? Do you understand that concept? Like that the three of them are in like a creative thing and then somebody wants to add to it. They got to feel them first in order to add. It's an interesting dynamic, right? That there's a group creativity going on.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And, I think it's easy with these guys because, they work really well together. So, I haven't, I've just met Bill at conventions and talked to him a little bit, especially on the shows. And, he definitely seems like he would meld good with these guys.
Fantastic.
And now, Ashley, of course.
I want to mention before we wrap up, we have a friend named Mike. And I saw Mike in makeup a few weeks ago. Was that shooting an episode of your TV show?
It was.
It was.
So, first of all, the title of the TV show is the same, or what's the title of the TV show?
Talking with the Dead.
Talking with the Dead is the TV show. This is still Talking with the podcast. Talking with the Dead is the show. So,
Exactly.
what episode or what was going on, and what was Mike made up as? Was he a zombie? What was happening there?
Well, Bill, we're putting our own twist on the zombie. You know, we don't want it to be
just another zombie.
Yeah, we don't want it to be just another zombie like, you know, Day of the Dead and The Walking Dead type zombies. So we creatively, with Bill, twisted that a little bit.
Right.
And Mike was made up as what we call a weed eater.
Oh,
so as we mentioned before, it's the education behind it. So we're using zombieism
right
as an illness that can potentially be cured by a form of cannabis.
Wow.
And it's just like the real world, you know, like Ashley said earlier, it's used for so many different things in such a wide spectrum that it doesn't always work for somebody.
Let me do this. I'm way behind on a break. Let me get this break in. When we come back, a final question, and I'll mention it now so you can think about it a little bit. Broadcasting, when I first started, all the time, but even today where it's still in a major market, it's a full-time thing. People come in 7 o'clock in the morning for a television show that goes on at 5 o'clock. And the producer comes in, gets the stuff together. Then the people that work on the actual show come in. Then the hosts come in. So that's broadcasting. It sounds like, and you guys sound like you're great at this, that because it's not all you do, when you do it, you're a lot fresher. Jeff, especially, I mean, you're really good at just getting in there with a non sequitur that nobody else is thinking about. It's, I think, a remarkable ability, but it sounds like it's not a broadcast environment. You have to have another real life. You got to have life experiences and be a person. Then you come to the podcast and bring your potpourri, whatever you got. Is that a good description of what I think I'm hearing from you guys and what you do so well?
But yeah, I think that's a perfect description.
Hang on. Let me do this after the break. That's what I want to talk about. It's the Ed Tyll Show. We are here with some great podcasters. A couple of weeks ago, I was invited to be on Still Talking With, and I had a great time. Afterwards, I said, you guys got to come on my show. I would like to learn more about this podcasting vibe. I was in my first broadcast studio in 1975. I'm still broadcasting now. Podcasting is fascinating to me. I love how different and how, unprocessed and untampered with you guys sound. Fantastic. All right. So Still Talking With, we'll be right back. It's the Ed Tyll Show, Florida Man Radio, unfiltered, unafraid. Way behind on these breaks, but it's Friday, so we're catching up. And we'll continue.
Ed Tyll's coming right back.
For those of you watching the live stream, and if you weren't here earlier, we're at a commercial break. And we are currently live streaming or on the live radio. It's not really streaming, on the airwaves in Florida. So all Florida State through Florida Man Radio, the Ed Tyll Show.
We are podcasting and broadcasting at the same time.
Exactly.
I wonder if that's like a new...
That's a three-way.
We have
That's
to come
a
up
three-way.
It is.
Five
of us in here, but you're right.
I am recording this, so I will put this up as a special on your
Awesome.
podcast.
I much appreciated.
Certainly.
But it is pretty cool. Like,
You okay, Jeff? You look like you're ready to fall asleep.
I know, you don't look...
I'm
too
freaking
bad.
exhausted, dude. Are you kidding me?
And you're exhausted, and we have to get up tomorrow and go do an event. And not only that,
I have Bill sleeping
you have
at my
Bill staying
house.
at your house.
Party! No, I'm just kidding. Kind of.
Wait, I missed that. What was that?
Well, we have
Bill's staying at Jeff's house.
Yeah, Bill's coming up. He's going to come up and make a special appearance at the
Our toy
Helping
drive.
Hands drive that we're doing tomorrow at Green Matters, and he's going to stay at Jeff's house.
Nice.
You
Oh,
know?
yeah, maybe. I told him I was going to come home and go to sleep. He's like, "What? You're not even going to drink with me?" I'm like, "I've been with you for a week."
And Ashley,
Yeah.
the hairstyle right there,
Yeah.
that's Piper's hairstyle moving forward.
Oh yeah.
Just straight down, just like it was at Wepper Farms when you got soaked. We talked about it. I think, yeah. Well, because we're moving out of
I know.
the opening into so. But yeah, we got some exciting stuff coming down the line with him, Leo.
I got you.
You know, I don't know if you caught that on the show the other night, but he wants to literally build a city down the center of his studio that's ours.
Nice.
So you're talking
You're
what?
giving away all the good stuff, Ben.
Well, I'm giving it to
We're
Leo because Leo's the
live.
producer.
We're live.
Yeah, we're live.
Oh no, Bill dropped that on the show the other night.
No, I know.
So
Right.
that's no surprise.
No, I wanted to ixnay the other thing though, because it's not.
Yeah,
ready
I
to
know.
come
I know
out.
you want
Nay.
to.
Is that what they say? I don't know.
Ixnay.
It's like, yeah, it's like a business, and he always tries to veto, and not Danny.
Everyone's allowed a veto.
Oh yeah, he got his one veto for the day.
One a day.
He gets one a day. That's it.
What
That's
am
all I
I going to
get.
veto today?
What's that?
Work. I'm going to veto work. Just don't show up.
Where were you, Ashley? I vetoed
where
it.
were you working
I
today?
vetoed work today. Vetoed work today.
Where
I
you
know.
supposed
I worked last night. I was like, I literally felt like a zombie. I'm like, this is my one of my coworkers. She's like, you're gonna make it. Are you all right? Like so tired.
Look, see, people don't realize. I mean, a lot of the people that are affiliated
Exhausting.
with us that have been down to the studio now realize.
Right.
It's the people
Shit's
that
work.
watch us live. They just don't realize what really goes into it.
Hey, we left
know.
New York at
Awesome.
6 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, so we could be back to do this. Well, we needed to be back, but so we could get back to do this so that we can rest, so that we can do what we have to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Sunday, I mean, I don't even think I'm going to get out of bed.
No rest for the wicked people.
Right?
I had a 6-hour town hall yesterday.
Ugh.
6-hour town hall meeting.
Our town hall. It was actually a little longer than that, but they gave us like half an hour for lunch. But yeah, it's
Wow.
Oh, how do you?
Oh. and it's
Oh.
a yearly thing. I mean, normally they're like a couple hours, but like every November, December, there's like a all day event, and it's filled with talking about how good the business is going, and then there's a ton of breakout sessions to learn what other departments are doing. So it's a huge event. It's definitely learn a lot, but it's a long ass day.
Speaking of events, did you get your media package in?
Me?
Sci-fi horror? Yes, you.
Oh, I filled it out. I'm going to send it today,
Okay.
and I'll CC you when I email them.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, she told me she had 5 spots. We have 1.
Yep.
And she knows that the Dorkening Podcast Network's coming, so that's 2.
Yep.
So we're trying to get it.
4,
We're
5.
We're trying to get it set up so that you are set up right next to us, so we can do the podcast platform next to our merch
That'd be
booth.
fucking cool as hell.
Which is set up right next to Hellfire, isn't it?
No, not
Yeah.
for Sci-Fi Horror Fest.
Oh, sci-fi you're talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Evil Expos.
Evil Expo.
Evil
That's 2
Expos.
different things. I
Yeah,
keep
2
getting
different
those
things.
confused.
It's all right,
Me too.
I'm having trouble keeping up with myself.
right? At least you're not like John tripping over yourself. I said that because I saw him pop in and watch.
Oh, yeah.
John
If he's-
watching?
If you're still watching, John, we love you.
Feel better. You going to pass that thing or what? They don't share.
Yeah.
They don't share.
Share what?
My roach clip's empty.
What do you mean we don't share?
I'm
Ashley.
kidding. You guys share. You
Ashley
share.
goes, I want to get high. You know where it is.
It's
Oh, you're not going to roll it
It's
for me?
100% true.
No.
That
Well, it's
conversation
not.
did happen.
Well, yeah, I know.
In
That's
my
why I-
defense,
All
I
right,
was like,
stand
well,
by. Stand by.
This is the Ed Tyll Show.
It is the Ed Tyll Show, Florida Man Radio, unfiltered, unafraid. On the line with me, the still welcome to Still Talking With. The hosts are with me, the podcast, and they are also behind this fantastic TV live action that we've been talking about with Bill Diamond before. So I want to get people to understand what I started out in the beginning talking about, the big difference between podcasting and broadcasting. You guys do this in addition to your regular life. You have lives in addition to the podcast. Ben, let's begin with you. How much of your time is taken up by the TV and the podcast thing?
A lot. I try to squeeze in my real life work and real life stuff. I mean, a year ago, if this is a year ago, I would have said, well, it's about, 20% of my time, but now it's more like 80.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, tell me, what are you? Are you able to get rid of the day job altogether, or you just got a different?
No.
That's the goal.
That's the ultimate goal. But that's everybody's ultimate goal.
What's your day job? What do you do when you're not in show business?
Construction.
Wow. And
so,
you would develop. Tell me what. Yeah, I love construction.
Well, Jeff and I worked together for years. Jeff was my teacher, believe it or not, in the construction industry. So more or less what I do is everything from frame to finish, specializing in more remodeling. But I've kind of phased myself. I'm getting older, so I phased myself away, and I'm kind of concentrating mostly on doing kitchen renovations, bathroom renovations, things that I can get in and get out real quickly.
Jeff, do you still love that? Do you love construction, or it's just what you've done for a long time? How do you feel about it?
Sucks. No, I did it for many years, and when I decided to get out of it, I went to work for a high-end furniture company. So now,
doing what?
I was making 18th century Victorian reproductions.
You're not joking with me? My dad did this.
Yeah, no, I'm not joking.
At the end of his career, last 10 years of my dad's career, he would finish all this 18th century, early 19th century furniture. What a great gig. I went up and took a look at his work one time in Westchester County. He was at a place called Old World Craftsman. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. I bet you love that. How don't you?
Well, really? Yeah, I've taken it to a different kind of a level, and I use that old world experience of the furniture building, and I make new pieces using the old technologies.
Right. Beautiful.
You know what I mean? I don't use CNC machines. I do not use laser cutters. I carve everything with chisels.
Wow. So there's a joy in that work, isn't there? You must enjoy when you're alone doing that stuff.
To me, it's therapy.
Yeah.
Because
from dealing with me.
Yeah. Ashley, what about you? When you're not involved with the show, what do you do?
Oh, I'm a busy person. So I'm a photographer. That's my first and foremost.
What kind of photography do you do?
So music was my main thing, but that obviously got kind of crushed by COVID. So I do a lot of portrait photography. And I pretty much will do any type of photography, food. Right.
But if you have your druthers, you're out there shooting bands. Is that what you like to shoot?
Yes, that's my favorite thing to do.
Excellent.
And why is that, Ashley?
Why is what?
Why do you like shooting bands? That was your hint to give Scarecrow Hill a plug.
Because it's epic. Yes. Well, my husband. Well, he's the one who actually got me into photography, and he is in a band called Scarecrow Hill, and they're amazing. Just dropped a great album that you can stream anywhere, download anywhere, so you should check that out. It's called Not Dead Yet.
We let her do that because Scarecrow Hill does our opening music for the broadcast podcast show.
Beautiful. Nicely done. Leo, are you always in some kind of studio environment? What else do you do besides this?
Well, so along with Still Talking With, I do in total 4 to 5 shows a week for the other shows on the network. And I'm talking about, changing things up in January. But my day job is actually, I do digital marketing for a large insurance company. So.
Oh, wow. So you have a full-time day job, and you do all these shows in your extra time.
Yep. Normally streaming, right after work, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then, on the weekends, a lot of it is doing prep work for the shows, or editing podcasts and uploading them, or doing web work as well.
I can tell listening to Leo how much you guys must love him, right?
Leo is
Go ahead.
Leo is an amazing person.
Right.
I can't say enough about the gentleman.
All right, let me tell you what I hear. I hear a guy who doesn't want the spotlight and loves it when you guys succeed in the spotlight.
That's exactly how he is.
Look at Leo nodding yes. Leo, why do you enjoy that? Because I started out in broadcasting, working alongside somebody like you, and it taught me so much about what I was going to do going forward. Why are you content to not be in the spotlight, but have other people do brilliantly while you're working the controls? Why do you like that?
Well, I'm a firm believer that, and we say this across the network, and I don't know how the saying goes exactly, but, like a rising tide lifts all boats. So it's, we're all working together to build, something larger. And it's all about a team, aspect. It's not just one person, it's everybody working together to make something better. And, me being a tech guy, I love making sure everything works, trying to figure out, we've gone through different.
Doesn't it feel good when it's coming out great? Doesn't it make you feel good?
It does. It does.
I'm the same way. That's the way when you first are in this and you go, oh my God, that sounds right. The voices are right. Wow, the connection is so clear. This is going to be. I know that feeling. It's terrific, man. You guys have been great today. I want to thank you for putting up with all the questions, educating Grandpa all about the podcast world. What's next? What's on your horizon? Who's your next great guest? Your next great thing you're going to do together?
Well, tomorrow, just real quick, I want to bring this up. So tomorrow, there's a really good cause. It's a toy drive, food drive at Green Matters in Taunton. And we'll all be there. Leo will be there in spirit. Yep. And Bill Diamond's actually coming down as well. So bring a toy, bring some perishable foods, and
there's lots of giveaways, bunch of raffles. Yep.
Mary Palmer will be there.
Exactly.
Stuff happening.
Exactly.
What's on the next episode of the podcast? Do you guys know what's happening next time?
Oh yeah, we're booked. Honestly, we're booked all the way to February right now.
Sure. Go ahead. What's plug it?
Next episode? Next Wednesday, we have Who is Mary Palmer? And they are a brilliant, brilliant company out of Weymouth, Massachusetts that deals with CBD and THC products.
They just won 10 awards.
They won 10 awards, basically swept a competition with their award-winning products. I mean, tune in Wednesday night and learn more about them. I mean, but if you're into cannabis or cannabis, because CBD, THC, either side of it.
Or if you want to learn about healing through the plants,
exactly.
Right? We talk about that a lot on the show, so I think maybe we'll have you guys come back from time to time, and we could zoom in on when you do a topic that overlaps with the story that we're doing. I'd love to get some. To me, again, as an old guy, it's so exciting that weed has come out into the light. And it's seen for what it really can do. People, you guys know this because of the show. For thousands of years, mankind has used this plant when there were no pharmaceutical companies, when there were no laboratories and white coats. This is what got people through. So congratulations on the work. Now, the TV show, I want to make sure we give it a nice, clear understanding and plug. When does it air? How do you watch it? I know you're in the middle of shooting the second season. So tell me.
A second episode.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, it's like I said, it's in post right now. We should have the trailer, according to Bill, within the month. That's the first thing he's going to kick out. And episode 1, or issue 1, as Bill calls it, because we have issues, is supposed to be available. We're hoping about February.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we'll stay in touch with that. My thanks to Mike and Kelly for getting us together. Now, how do you know those guys? Mike is fantastic. He's in every element of show business. Mike knows everybody. Kelly has met everybody who's a rock star. It is fantastic having them as friends. But how did you guys hook up?
Comic-Con.
At a Comic-Con, yeah. They were representing Clayton Prince.
Right.
And I walked up we had we had the gazebo up in front of them,
Right.
where we had multiple people set up, including a CBD company. So Kelly came up and we were chatting about CBD for aches and pains that Mike had, and blah blah blah. You know,
Before you know it.
yeah, you know, it just kind of, we went down, we chatted with Clayton Prince a little bit, and the rest is pretty much history. We just kind of
Got a fascinating story, doesn't he?
Yeah.
We talk about it now, but I'm just saying, I remember meeting him as well. He had that whole thing with that famous TV show. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Well, we'll tell that story another time, but that blows me away. What happened with that? All right, fantastic. You guys, congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Ashley, today for the first time. Great, Jeff, to have you back, Ben and Leo. Will you guys come back join us next time?
Absolutely, anytime.
Yeah, you just gotta ask nicely.
I was going to say, and not based on how this went, but if I could clean this act up a little bit, and come back to you with something more acceptable, you think we have a shot?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Look forward to it.
I'm an old guy, you know. It takes a while to learn new stuff.
You know,
yeah.
Anytime, always.
All right, guys, a real pleasure. Still,
thank you.
Toking with, you're welcome, and it's Facebook. You can find it right away if you go to Still Toking With on Facebook. Find
Toking with the Dead.
You know about you guys.
Still Toking Comics, Toking with the Dead.
Beautiful. Yep. All right, guys. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Everyone, take care.
Thank you.
Come on, everybody, it's WLIE. Come on, everybody.
Okay.
Bye, Ed.
Yeah.
That was quick. He's like, poop.
Well, I think he does a longer show, and you know, this was like a segment of that. So
yeah, I think his show's like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Right.
Holy shit.
But we want to say thank you to everybody that actually tuned in to watch us today. That was kind of cool.
I'm gonna go to sleep.
Ashley's gonna go to work. Leo's gonna.
I said I'm vetoing.
I'm vetoing.
I'm vetoing.
I have the day off, so I am going to go spend some time with my wife. We got a couple projects we need to get done. So, yeah.
Nice. Well,
excellent.
Make sure if you're in the area tomorrow to come down to Green Matters in Taunton. You'll see us, except for Leo, but he'll be in spirit.
Yeah.
I already said that.
I know. I was reiterating. Listen.
Yes.
I will throw you in the fucking Hudson again.
I already did that.
I'll do it again.
Yeah.
I can write that in.
Lynn and Steve from who is Mary Palmer will be there with us. And Bill will be there.
Yep. Bill Diamond's coming up to do limited autographs for donations. So yeah, hopefully we'll see a lot of you there tomorrow. If not, you know, Leo, take us out of here.
So if you enjoyed tonight's today's episode, you can find a bunch of information down below or up above if you want to learn more about Ed Tyll or the Florida Man Radio. But more importantly, head on over to thedorkening.com, which you can find all the shows on the network, including That Strange Show. Angel, you've been chatting in the chat room. Greatly appreciate it.
Love you, Angel.
And, you know, also Still Token With as well. Our Monday show, which is Indie Creator Spotlight, and we got the directors of Fat Man on next Monday, and then after that, Matt Passmore from the show The Glades, and Ellen, I forgot her last name. She's going to be in Matrix 4, so that's the week after that. Yeah.
Hey,
nice.
Slow down on with getting the good people. You got to give us some. No, I'm just kidding.
I can share.
It's all good. It's all good. That's what
Thanks
makes
for
this.
having me, guys. It was fun.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So, Ashley, where do you like people interacting with you?
Definitely Instagram, because Facebook sucks nowadays. So that's a.grace. I'm sorry, yeah. a.grace.photography3 on Instagram. Facebook, obviously. You can also find my website, agracephotography.com.
And we got your website in the show notes as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Jeffrey.
I'm going to sleep. I'm exhausted. Facebook is going to go through some changes, so I'm going to have to find out and figure out this. I don't know, what is it? Twitter?
Well,
or Instagram or something. Well, Facebook owns Instagram too, right?
Yeah, but you know, if there's talk of maybe splitting up the monopolies, so you know, that'd be good if they split up Facebook and Instagram, and they also own WhatsApp and they bought some other competitors as well. So
Yeah, yeah.
we don't want all social media to just be Facebook.
Well, I think what they need to do is just contact the Dorkening Podcast Network and give us one of the platforms.
There we go. Yeah.
Problem solved. Pretty simple in my eyes.
Yeah. But, social media goes through waves. So, today it's Facebook. Tomorrow will be something else,
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes in cycles.
It does.
So, well, you take care of yourself, Leo. Ashley, it was nice to have you with us.
Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Not really. I mean, she just left the day before yesterday. So it's like,
You got a break.
Yeah, one day. Woohoo.
You're welcome. Like you didn't
Yeah.
miss me. Don't lie.
Yeah, it's kind of like hemorrhoids.
Oh my god, I gotta go. 'Cause you guys aren't paying me, so someone has to. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you later.
Bye,
See you,
guys. Thank
Ashley.
you.
Benjamin.
Yo, so we're on every social media platform out there. Just still talking with the dead. All these great people that we've mentioned today. If you go to stilltoking.com, that's our website. You'll find them in the sponsors somewhere. But to all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do every day, so people like us can come up here and do what we do every day. We'll see you real soon. We're out of here.
Peace out.
Bye.